Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. This is going to be a bit different than what I normally upload. Normally I would just go to a gym and weight the gym and climb in the gym and then do that quite a lot. Yeah, this video I wanted to focus more or tell you guys how to improve your climbing, what can help with improving your climbing with tiredness, fingerskin problems, etc. And how to climb consistently on a level and how to climb harder. And also the mindset you will need to climb really hard. Yeah, that will be things that I will be talking about in this video. So yeah, let's get right into it. So when I'm climbing, I'm not going instantly on like a 7B or a really high grade. I usually just go on a boulder that I know I can probably do, maybe in one attempt, maybe in a few attempts. For me, 7As are usually what I warm up on. When climbing this grade, I also feel the most relaxed out of the higher grades that I usually also climb in the same session. And I think it's good to always, do these lower grades and not just go hop on one really high grade. The lower grades usually acquire a lot more technique than the higher grades. And you can learn a lot more from the lower grades sometimes than from the higher grades. So it's really important to still do lower grades. Sometimes the lower grades can also feel way harder than the higher grades. The 7A plus, for example, felt way harder than the 7B that I did in the same session in Monk Amsterdam. I barely flashed the 7A plus and felt really like out of power at the end of this boulder. It has these really like awkward and powery moves in the boulder. It's good to train these kinds of boulders because this is something that you can see in outdoor bouldering as well. And feeling out of power is definitely also a good thing because that means that you have tried quite hard on the boulder and that you have definitely got a challenge out of the boulder, which is also really good training at the end of the day and also makes you feel a lot stronger the next session you're climbing in, let's say, another gym or this gym. So yeah, the next thing is route reading. This is probably the most important thing out of the hard climbing. A lot of people don't really read the routes that well. I've seen that a lot in the gyms. It's really important when before going into a route that you know what to do and what the plan is going to be for the boulder. And let's say you don't flash the boulder and you know, the beta is probably not going to work. Try to change your beta and don't go with the same beta over and over and over again. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, to change your beta when something doesn't work and try it in another way, because sometimes that can cost you descent and you could have maybe done the boulder but didn't do it because of this. So next thing, doing really weird moves or doing moves that you usually don't see in the gym is also really good training for, improving your strength and climbing overall. A lot of people say that dynoing is parkour and that it has no resemblance to outdoor climbing at all. I do not agree with that statement. I heard that a lot of people say that, but dynoing is probably one of the most important parts of climbing, because that trains your coordination and you definitely have a lot of coordination moves outside. So training dynos sometimes maybe isn't really fun to do, or maybe feels really risky, but it's definitely worth it when you're going to climb outdoors. One good example for a really classic Fontainebleau 7B Plus that I did a while ago is Le Carnage. This boulder has two kind of like dynos or jumps to a hold. You have to stick precisely. If you climb a little bit dynamically, the boulder can definitely be doable if you're strong enough to do it in 1 or 2 sessions. And if you don't climb dynamic, this boulder will be a lot harder, because these are moves you will see when doing dynamic boulders in a gym. When you're doing dynamic boulders in a gym, you of course have to be really accurate, and that's something that you can see that you have to do here as well. Also on really high grades, also on 9As like Burden of Dreams, and also some other really hard boulders, you can see that every move has to be perfect. It has to be as accurate as possible. So if you train dynamic boulders or train a lot of jumping to tiny little holds, or slots that works really, really well with outdoor climbing and trains you also really well to climb even harder than you're climbing right now. It definitely also gives you a really big advantage for these kinds of boulders. And that's why I think it's still good to try or do boulders that are considered parkour by people, or just the comp style moves, because you have to be really accurate, and that's also something that you can see outside. And you can also see that some of the best competition climbers also climb really hard grades outside. Most of that is also because of accuracy, and also, of course, a lot of power training and a lot of experience with route reading as well. I think the next thing that's more for, I think, beginner climbers is also to watch some videos about, footwork techniques and, beginner guides with like climbing, because those videos usually give you the best information about how to get better as a beginner or someone who just started climbing, and gives you all of the information you need. So yeah, after you have warmed up, of course, you have done some pretty like competition style moves. I think it's really important to also have a really hard project or do boulders or try boulders that you can that are over your limit. Sometimes the part of the process is that you can do boulders, and it can sometimes feel really like frustrating. But that's all part of the process and learns you to fix your tiny mistakes you made on the boulder, so you can come back stronger later on. And sometimes that feels really horrible, because then you have almost done the boulder but you fall out of the end because you're missing a tiny little detail. But that's really important with climbing, that these climbing details matter a lot. Sometimes you fluke a boulder and just power through them, and be really lucky that you hold on to the holds like I had here on the 7C. But that's all part of the process, and makes you really like a better overall climber. So I think that's also a really important takeaway from all of this. Then the most important part is to have a really hard project, something that you can really work a lot of sessions on. So your route reading can definitely improve a lot. I feel like the best way to improve your route reading is by trying something that has a lot of moves that you have to really figure out. I think this is the best part of training route reading really well. And having really hard projects also definitely makes you a really stronger climber if you can do the projects, or it feels really possible to do. You only have to like link a few parts. I think that's also really good training and helps you also a lot. On this 7C, for example, I had something like that. This is probably one of the hardest 7Cs I've done. The most important thing here, what I did on this boulder, is to split the boulder in two parts and work every single move out. I think this works the best. Definitely on long boulders outdoors, doing this is like really important, because it can definitely make you send the boulder much faster. This is also a tip that I got from Tiba Vroom when I just started getting training from her. That working out your boulders in two parts is the best way to send your really long boulders. She's, by the way, a B climber outdoors, so yeah, I think we can all say that her advice is quite professional. Also, with training hard boulders indoors, I would also say to try and kilterboard a lot. Why not moonboard? Well, you can also do the moonboard, but I feel like the kilterboard has these more morpho moves into the quims, and trains you a little bit better for outdoor climbing. Well, I think on the moonboard, the quims can sometimes be a little bit bit close by to each other, and there sometimes just isn't like a lot of really like dynamic, accurate, hitting to a quimp dynoing. And also the kilterboard has a lot more boulders than the moonboard, and yeah, you can also do campus sessions there and build your power with that too. And that's why I think the climbing on the kilterboard is a little bit better than the moonboard. But overall, I think the moonboard is also a really solid board to train accuracy and outdoor climbing with. Oh yeah, and for the people that think that I'm only a cutterboard climber, that's not the case. I've been climbing on the moonboard for half a year straight, and I've climbed a lot of 7Cs, around 10 7Cs on the moonboard. And yeah, I took a small break because I yeah, felt it was quite repetitive and didn't really improve my climbing a lot when doing competitions. A problem that I sometimes had when climbing was that I felt really, really tired. Sometimes it can definitely be a cause that you can't climb really hard because you just feel tired all the time. What helped for me is not only to drink a lot of water, but also to use the creatine. This is not sponsored, by the way. I'm just saying that this worked really well for me. My channel is also not monetized yet because I just don't have enough subscribers yet. So subscribe, please. But yeah, like you can use every creatine. I use Upfront or yeah, this one, full power. But yeah, basically what it does is it makes sure that like you have to drink a lot of water or a lot of like lemonade or whatever. Like you can use like drinks with like a taste with this. I think that's also a little bit better because otherwise you will kind of like get the taste of like the creatine in your mouth. It kind of tastes like chalk, and that's not really that nice to drink, to be honest. So yeah, you can mix it with lemonade or anything like that, but it's the most important thing is to drink a lot of water, and you will feel a lot better. You will also see that you will gain a lot more muscle mass because this works really well with recovery, and also because of the recovery of your muscles will get bigger, and because there's more water in your muscles will also get bigger, and you will also weigh a little bit heavier, but yeah, you'll gain more muscle and feel way better, and also have a body that you should have on your age, and not a skinny body or a not fully grown body, because I definitely had like quite a skinny body when I was like 16, and now I have much more mass, and I'm also much more grown, with like my shoulders and my arms, and my whole body has grown a lot more because I have taken this a little bit, but I'm not taking it right now, because I don't really feel like I need it anymore. But yeah, maybe I will take it sometimes again. But yeah, I think this worked really well. But it's also a good thing to not do too much when you feel super tired, and not go and climb 2 hours more. And it's good to listen to your body when it says it's tired, to just like go home, rest, and come back another day. I think this is also something that some climbers forget, that our body still has to recover. um, and also the strongest climbers in the world also have to recover, or have break days. So yeah, now for Fingerskin, I usually just use antihydral, but yeah, I have been using dog paw medicine also a little bit. That makes your skin much thicker, but usually when my fingerskin is a bit pink, I usually just take 2 days rest, just like make it recover and then climb again. I think that's the best way how to recover properly. Sometimes it's much faster than my skin heals, but yeah, like it's good to let it recover for 1 day at least. You will also definitely feel when you press on it if it still hurts. If it doesn't hurt, it's okay and you can just climb again. I think it's also good to not climb only quims, but also climb some slopers and some other kind of styles. I feel like when you climb only quims, the problem will be that you run out of fingerskin quite real fast. So I think it's really important to climb a lot of styles and not just stick with one style or climb one style, because it can definitely like turn to really short sessions. And I think also with this, I think it's also good to climb in a lot of gyms, because a lot of gyms set differently from each other, and some gyms set more with quims and others set more with slopers. So with all of that experience, my finger skin has also definitely changed a lot, because I've done that a lot few like back to back. Like I haven't climbed every single day and went to a gym every single day, but I definitely went to 2, 3 different gyms in the week. So yeah, my fingerskin is kind of adapted to that I go to these gyms at least 2, 3 times in the week, and also got a lot more thicker and stronger because of that. And I think that's also something that I can say really works well with this. For the rest, I know a few people that love to climb alone, but I think the best way to climb is to climb together with someone or just make contact with people climbing in the gym. I think that's much more fun, and also motivational wise, it's much better. Yeah, like I at least have 1 or 2 sessions in the week that I climb with a friend or someone new with from the gym, and yeah, I feel really happy when I can climb with someone. Like, then I don't feel like I'm just climbing here alone. I am here talking about myself. I have had this where I hadn't seen my friends in a half a year. Um, and yeah, I wasn't really that happy. I was quite grumpy, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is to have fun in climbing and, climb with people, socialize. I think that's the most important thing. If you don't do that, you will definitely feel really shit. Um, and that's why I think that's the most important part in climbing, to still socialize and have fun, even when you want to climb really hard grades. You can also see that with the top climbers in the world. They don't climb alone, they climb together. And I think that's, uh, yeah, I think that's also when you learn the most out of your climbing sessions. So yeah, with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some useful information out of this, and yeah, learned some new things, and maybe you can also put this in your training. So yeah, I really hope that this video helped a little bit. um, and yeah, I for the rest have to say I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, have a really nice day.